Welcome to week 27 of my Mallorca training vlog. After last week's 100 kilometre ride, I've been focusing a little bit on my recovery this week. So on Monday I didn't do any cycling at all, I just had a bit of a rest and let my body recover. And then on Tuesday I did my regular spinning session, which just happened to be an aerobic interval class. Now while I was doing that, I could see that I still wasn't fully recovered, as on the efforts my heart rate wasn't going up quite as high as I was expecting it to. Nevertheless, it was still a very beneficial spinning session. The hot weather that we've been having here in the UK has finally broken, and on Friday I went out and did my first Zwift session in a while. So it was a new course to me. It looked like it was in Innsbruck on the World Championship course, so it was fairly mountainous, although that doesn't make much difference when you're sat spinning away in a garage on a turbo trainer. But I did see it as an opportunity to build a bit of leg strength for my upcoming Mallorca trip, when I'll be actually climbing real mountains. So what I did, I put the turbo onto a fairly high resistance and I put the bike into a fairly high gear, and then just started mashing my way up the virtual climb on Zwift. Now, having a fair bit of resistance on the bike and on the turbo trainer, I could see that it wasn't pushing me quite as hard as it should have done. Typically, when I go out on the road and I'm doing a real climb, my heart rate will get up to about 85, 90, sometimes even 95% of my maximum. Yet during my Zwift session, I could see it was only going up to about 80%. So although it was beneficial, it's nowhere near as good as actually riding a climb on the road. In other news, viewer Jamie Strathern has very kindly set up a Jolly Good Velo Facebook group, which is closely linked to the Jolly Good Velo Cycling Club on Strava. Now, I'll include a link to both of those in the description to this film, but it would be fantastic if we could have as many people as possible join both. So the Facebook group and the club on Strava. I know Jamie's got a lot of fantastic ideas that he's looking forward to doing, so that would be amazing to see that. But it's not just about the club, it's also a place where we can get together, we can sort of discuss things, ask each other questions, and just generally be a cycling community. So a big thank you to Jamie for setting that up. Today is Saturday, and I have to admit that I find myself at a bit of a loose end. My other half has gone away for the weekend, so I can do literally anything I want to do. But knowing me, if I don't make any definite plans, I'll probably just sit around watching crap TV all day. So being the impulsive sort of chap that I am, I think I'm going to ride up to London. Now that's 110 kilometres away. It's not going to be easy. The traffic's going to be not the best, seeing as it's Saturday, but nevertheless, let's see how far I get. Now I can be really impulsive at times, but not so impulsive as to jump on the bike without thinking things through, at least a little bit. So I'm just going to check the weather using the app on my phone, and then I'll plan out a little route using an app called Komoot. So 30 kilometres in, still feeling good, and I've just stopped at the village of Liphook for a banana and something to drink. At 60 kilometres in, I got to Guildford, and I have to admit that I called it a day there.
The GPS on my phone wasn't very good, so I couldn't see the map for the rest of the route. I didn't know the way, so I was a little bit lost. The weather was starting to close in, I was starting to get a little bit tired, and basically, yeah, I thought I'll take the train home. One of the good things about the route was that it was on the major London to Portsmouth railway line. So I'm now on the train heading down to Havant, so I'll have to ride home from there, which is about 12 kilometres. So all in all today I will have ridden 72 kilometres, so not a bad ride.
Now that I'm back home, showered and relaxed, I can take a few moments and reflect on how I could improve on today's ride. Now, the first piece of advice that I would give to myself is not to try this ride on a Saturday. Basically, the traffic going into the towns was pretty horrendous. The first 40 kilometres wasn't too bad because I was riding in fairly rural countryside, but then as I kind of got towards places like Godalming and Guildford, it was getting a bit more built up and the traffic was starting to build up as well, and certainly I hit a few traffic jams and that did delay me. When I got to Guildford, I did manage to get a little bit of signal on my phone, and it was saying to me that it was going to take about 3.5 hours to cycle up to the cafe. And that was basically, I would assume, down to traffic, because from there on, from Guildford into London would have just been complete urban sprawl. So yeah, I think on a Sunday there's virtually no traffic, and I think that would be a much better day to do it. The next piece of advice I would give to myself is plan the route out a bit more in advance. Now, obviously, I know my local area fairly well, so that wasn't a problem. And when I got to Liphook, I used to live there, so I knew that fairly well. And then the roads from Liphook to Godalming, I basically learnt to drive on, so I knew those fairly well. But then from Guildford, the rest of the way up to London, it's all a bit of a black spot for me, and we're definitely off my map there, and I was relying on my phone to give me directions. Now, I suppose I could have sort of braved it out and carried on riding. I knew roughly the route, but then there was always the possibility of taking wrong turns and sort of not taking the best roads that I could have done. So I think what I'll do in future is plan it out a bit more. And lastly, it's definitely the sort of ride that you really don't want to do on your own. Having a wheel to follow is so much better. I cannot emphasize how much better it is to have somebody with you. Just looking at their wheel kind of takes your mind off how tired you're feeling. They take the wind as well. So yeah, the next time I do it, I'm going to ride with somebody. So are you training for a particular cycling event? If you are, please tell me all about it in the comments below. If you found this film useful, please like and share. And if you'd like to get the most out of your cycling, please consider subscribing for my regular weekly uploads. Thanks for watching.